Alright, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back. Today we're covering Magic, but we're going to be using her in a much different way. I like Magic. I thought that she was going to be my kind of character. She looks very, very cool. She has a phase that makes her very, very strong, but before this phase, she's limited. So you have to know where and when to use her still, even at tier 4. And I wish she got that kill. She may get a kill later in this video, Super Giant. I'm using Super Giant for a reason. But Magic is good at getting the meta to 1% in between, and I'm pairing her with xdeaths. And xdeaths Wolverine is insane. I'm not gonna go too much into detail about him. I'm just giving you kind of like a pseudo guide for how to use him. But Magic is a big part of this team, and without Magic, Wolverine would probably be in his newer uniform, just getting a kill as fast as he can. What I'm doing is I'm using the leadership of 20 seconds of debuff removal. This allows me to get the best out of Wolverine, and while Magic doesn't need 20 seconds of debuff removal, she's good with 12 seconds. I'm still able to kill and get meta to 1 in between, so Magic got a 1% on Null, and then Wolverine finished him off. Unfortunately, she's limited against the other meta, like Silver Surfer and like Sentry. Can she still kill them? Yeah, she can, but not in many different situations. Like in Otherworld Battle or AC, she will heavily struggle. Super Giant is a great tactic there because I just triggered Null's debuff removal just standing there and using the residual damage on the 5th skill. Magic almost got a kill there, but it doesn't matter because Wolverine is still going to finish him off. And I had to be very careful fighting this particular Magic. She already triggered my artifact, and I had to run from a lot of her skills. On manual play, and once her debuff removal is gone, she is very easy to kill, and she usually just stands around, which is one of her main issues, especially in the autoplay PvP like Otherworld Battle AC. She tends to stand around a lot, so I think I would categorize her more like in the top 10 range, and she has a lot of unique abilities that I'm going to showcase and explain more in detail as we go on. So, Magic can kill a lot of the meta. She kills Adam if you know what you're doing. You know, xdeaths could kill anybody and is a great help to her. But she can cancel her 3rd skill for more damage. She can combine it with her counter, and her 5th skill can be a nice iframe to use, but you don't want to combine her invincibility on her 5th with her counter. You would want to do them separate from each other. So maybe like 2 and then 5 and then maybe 3 and then 2. Something like that. At level 80, she's killing nulls at tier 4 in a triple meta and with a single support. Usually with Colossus, she can still one-shot null without a support herself, which is very impressive, but she's extremely one-dimensional. That's her issue, is that she only relies on one skill, and that's it. She could use the 3rd skill and insta-cancel it for some extra damage, and she could maybe follow up with 4 after you use the counter, so you could maybe trap him in debuffs if you've already triggered the debuff removal, but that's where it ends. And if she didn't have the great ability of getting null to 1% or killing him, her value would not be that great. as of right now, I categorize her maybe like in top 10 or top 11 in PvP right now, which it's good, but not game breaking, of course. Now, there was a lot to unpack there when Silver Surfer did that 3 against her. Number one, she tanked it at tier 3, tanked it well, and you could see she clearly has super guard break immunity in that dark phase. And she can kill some Silver Surfers. She's not completely useless against them. The counter is an iframe. It's just, that's one of the few iframes that she has. She has maybe like 2 other ones. One of them is half, and the other is just her first skill. So she's not very evasive, but that doesn't mean that she can't kill certain meta. If she has enough damage, she can kill most of the meta. Just, it's situationally. You have to know how to use her situationally. Wolverine, with 20 seconds of debuff removal, has a ton of time to tank 2 meta at a time. So I can give myself some time to time magic. And you have to understand, she does not have super guard break immunity in her initial phase. So with many characters that have super guard break, like Null, like Sentry, like Wolverine, like even in some cases Carnage, you may want to die first, because Magic gets super guard break immunity under debuff removal on her immortality. So that's going to be your best opening. On top of that, her second skill gives incapacitation, and oftentimes the AI is not going to have debuff removal at the time. She's going to trigger the debuff removal, but she's going to equip incap before she triggers the debuff removal. So there, look, she killed Surfer again. Sentry, I think, is where she struggles a little more, but she has killed sentries before, so it's possible, but it's all about timing. Wolverine usually takes on 2 lives of Sentry, 2 lives of Surfer, and then Magic can take on Wolverine, and she can take on Null, and she can take on Carnage pretty well. Wolverine is not very good against Carnage at all, and I was using Silver Surfer as a tactic versus Carnage while I had him with Wolverine, but Magic can just about take on majority of Carnages at level 80 even, which is pretty impressive. And she did kill a Sentry, and she did trigger the debuff removal on Null multiple times if she doesn't get the kill. And she applies incap so she could actually avoid the guard break from Null's 5. She removed the penetration with incap, and she has damage immunity, so she's still able to tank, especially under her dark phase, where she has, once again, super guard break immunity. Now, I'm going to try to use her in the best way that I can in this kind of situation where the characters are, you know, obviously stacked with buffs with support. But as you can see, she can still get a kill somewhat, and she's not too bad. That was a nice kill from Supergiant. Wow, amazing. Underrated, very underrated. I'm rocking her with Liberation, and she has decent damage once I get her 6th skill up. Supergiant is forever underrated. Amazing character. I don't even know how I'm able to use her right now. She's like 3 years old, but it's amazing. Anyway, so I've taken her on against various different meta. You know, Wolverine, I'm going to showcase to you now. It's been a while. I've been taking on Sentry, Surfer, Null. Now we're going to move on to Wolverine. Sometimes she can execute that counter right away. Sometimes she gets guard broken, so she gets it canceled. So kind of RNG based. It's 50-50. Wow, Supergiant got nulled to 1%. That's crazy. That is crazy. But yeah, this team is actually somewhat easy to use now that I've practiced with it enough, and it's fun. This team is fun to use. I was shocked at how efficient this team actually was. And here, you know, this is what I love about Magic. She triggers the debuff removal and gets the kill. So Wolverine's job is that much easier. Now, Carnage is where he's going to struggle. This is a greed Carnage, so he's much easier to kill than a refinement Carnage. But I need Magic to clutch this, because if she doesn't, I'm screwed. Because Carnage gets his tier 3 skill up very fast. But yeah, it's pretty much the same consistent story with Magic. If you know how to use her, she can get the kill, and she can be in an efficient triple meta team for fun. You can use her in a triple meta, like Sentry, Null, Magic, Surfer, Null, Magic, something like this. So she killed the Thanos here. Of course, Wolverine had to help her a little, but she got this kill too. And then I used debuffs on 4 to keep him trapped. So she has debuff potential as well. She's not a debuff master, but she has debuff potential. Thank God for that, because she has a lot of limitations. I'm using her with a 3-star artifact, so she only has immortality for 4 seconds, which is good enough for me, but not good enough anywhere else other than timeline battle for me. So she's dying very, very quickly. But that doesn't mean that she isn't useful. She's very useful. And I'm glad that I got her, and I'm glad that I got my teams in order. That's usually why I'm late to things, because I want to get my teams in order, so I know that any opponent that comes my way, I could fight with this team consistently once I get the practicing down. And yeah, look, killed Carnage completely, then goes and then kills Null once. Perfect. That's exactly what I need out of her. And then Wolverine just easily finishes this off. Well, not easily, but you get my meaning. So of course now I gotta take her into Otherworld Battle, where she's still gonna be paired with xdeaths in some form or another. And what's interesting is that she's actually one of the few characters that I would say can be put in the middle of the match and she'll perform a little better. Usually a lot of characters, especially immortality characters, a lot of them do very well either in the beginning or in the end. Very rarely both. For example, Wolverine and Ghost Rider do much better in the beginning. Null, there's a case with him where he does well in the beginning and in the end. Magic does well in the beginning because she can get that initial kill almost right away, but she doesn't do well in the end, because if you're on the losing side and she gets any kind of guard break, she's not going to execute her skill. And usually in a lot of these fights, she's dying very, very quickly. And you're going to see also in a lot of these fights, she executes one counter and it swipes the board, and then that's it. It's been more than 5 seconds, 6 seconds, 7 seconds, and she is sitting there like a sitting duck. I'm guessing it's because these teams use the buff where you remove all debuffs from all buffs on your enemy. So she gets her debuff removal gone and she's a sitting duck completely. So in Otherworld Battle, she's very hit or miss, and she does not do that well at the end. She does better in the beginning and or somewhere in the middle. And when I also say the middle, I mean to put her in the center. You don't want to put her in a corner because the range on her counter is short. So you don't want her to be a sitting duck. You want her to go toe to toe with the opponent so she can hit. And even then, she's not going to be guaranteed of a win all the time. I try to take on as many meta as I can here. You know, so far I think I've killed a null that was debuffed. I think I killed a Wolverine that was not debuffed. I've killed maybe a Surfer once. Here I put her in the middle, and let's see how she performs. So far, yeah, she executed her counter on the top right, and she killed a Cersei and somewhat of an Atom. What's good is that she tanks and she distracts opponents. So with her being able to tank for at least 4 to 5 seconds, it gives my other tunes an opening for them to make the kill. Combats, of course, get destroyed. Like Magic usually swipes combats pretty fast. You know, she killed Jean Grey there. So far she's killed Null, I think Surfer, maybe like a little bit of Wolverine and Jean Grey. So I'm showcasing how she performs when she's placed in the middle and more in the center of the ring. I'm trying to get her to target Atom and Wolverine again. Okay, yeah, now she just killed Cersei. And then, yeah, maybe like one Atom. She can only get the counter off once. It's very frustrating. And I can't go over there and freaking try to get her to do anything because, you know, I'm a prisoner to the freaking computer and the AI. And unfortunately, so is everybody else. I think this game mode is typically unfavorable. At least what's good about her counter is that it still hits even if it's not triggered, and it still has a decent hit, but the hit count is so low. It's a big issue because if you don't have greed on her, it's not going to hit very hard, and you're going to have to rely on like something like Conquest for her to tank a little longer. I think it's silly. I don't think that she deserves a Conquest. She did well there. Helped kill a Thanos, couple Warriors of the Sky, and I think helped kill a Madeline Pryor. I think now I'm going to try to get her to target Carnage. Maybe like a little bit of a Madeline Pryor. There you go. Killed Madeline Pryor, got Carnage to 1. That's good. Oh no, wow, she debuffed him too. That's good. That's a good run. It's hard for me to tell sometimes what's going on the board because there's so much going on. I'll try to direct where she's placed. There she got a Ghost Rider to 1%, but then Ghost Rider killed her off pretty quick. I totally forgot she was even in the match. But like I said, with combats, just one-shot slices. She can even go toe-to-toe with a Spider-Man, especially if she has greed with the ignore dodge. Does well there. In Otherworld Battle, I like to give her the remove all debuffs from all buffs for the opponent, and I like to give her any kind of attack buff so she one-shots more efficiently. Here, I take on a Doom and a Ghost Rider again. I think hopefully, yeah, she was successful with this Ghost Rider this time. She bought some time for me against Doom, so that's good. Her counter spreads on the board. Even though the range is short, it spreads around. So that's good. And now last but not least, we're taking her into some AC. And, you know, with this match, I wanted to play it safe because I wanted to make sure that she actually got the win. So I think I triggered the immortality on Null before I got this match. But this is where Magic kind of shines a little bit better where she has help from her teammates in one-shotting, and she follows up one-shots, and she usually executes one-shots efficiently. So she's not going to be standing around as long as in Otherworld Battle, but she will essentially do what's needed to be done, which is kill the opponent as quickly as possible. This is a clip from my friend Divine Envy, who took on a Carnage and a Null and did it pretty effectively. And then this was just a cute little Eternals team of 6 that I easily took down with Magic, because this is where like her value kind of lies in taking down a lot of niche meta. So anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you have any questions about how to use her. Top 7 guide is still coming soon. Thanos and Carnage are next. I will be taking you guys into a top 6 team collection, so stay tuned for that and take care.